Recent studies show that the average adult spends over 4 hours per day and conducts the majority of their person-to-person communication on their mobile phone. Think about that. The majority of all communication with every person in your life and in your luxury real estate business happens right here. Studies also reveal that you are using your phone for business-related purposes 7 days a week, with the highest utilization being messaging and phone calls. This presentation will focus on messaging, and for clarification purposes, messaging will refer to a text message or other direct message that is sent from your mobile device to a real estate client. There are best practices to follow so that messaging can be maximized as the tool that it is and not something that decreases productivity or the opinion others have of you. Here are 10 guidelines for professional messaging. Number 1, keep it classy. When sending a message to anyone in your professional world, write your sentences as you would in an email. Use proper phrases, word structure, and salutation, although the message itself might be shorter and without paragraph breaks. For example, your message to a person you just met would read like this: "Hi Bradley, it was a pleasure to meet you in person. Tell me what I can do to best assist you. Kind regards, Sterling." Exactly as you would with email, keep your messages classy. Friendly greeting, good grammar, and descriptive to the subject. Resist abbreviating words, using slang, or leaving out punctuation. Make sure and review any message you send using the I filter and the BAM technique learned in this program. Be certain it's client-focused and answering all questions being asked. Number 2, stay professional. While it might be your personality, minimize the use of emojis and GIFs in messaging, even if the other person uses them. Save the waving cats and OMGs for use with your close friends. This is because you need to be mindful of third parties, those who might see and read the message at a later time. You and the receiver know what the devil face emojis are all about, while to an outsider, it may appear as something completely different. 1 or 2 smiley face emojis after delivering good news is fine, or a thumbs up emoji when the client says they are running 5 minutes late. It's when your message thread starts to look like a comic book that it's crossed the professional line. Number 3, assume the best. Always assume any message from a number you do not recognize is a potential client. Avoid the "who's this" or "do I know you" responses. Reply to any unknown number as the professional you are. Say something like, "It's Sterling, how can I assist you?" This may be your opportunity to make a great first impression. Assume the best also applies to messages that come across as negative. Messaging is a difficult platform for communicating emotion. You have no facial expressions, no voice tone, or conversation to give you additional context. The classic example is when a buyer sends you a message that says, "I'm not happy about the house." As the agent, your mind is going in all kinds of directions, like they don't want to buy it, when in reality, the buyer's only talking about the closing that was extended by 2 days. Again, until you have more information, assume the best. Number 4, business hours. This one is a fine line, bordering on the near impossible. Try to keep your messaging within your business hours. This means if you're on 12 hours a day, for example, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., keep your messaging active within that period. And oh yes, this requires you have the discipline to not message someone before or after these times, unless it's of an urgent matter. Sure, you may have clients in other time zones or who legitimately work at 6 a.m. or 10 p.m., and that's par for the course in real estate. What you should establish is a general boundary of when messaging will happen. Otherwise, people will not respect your time and you will burn out. To set the expectations of your business hours, make it clear in one of your early client interactions. For example, when you missed a message that came in after hours, send a response the next morning. "Hi Brock, I saw you texted last night. My business hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and I'll always reply to you quickly during that time. You said in your message, etc., etc." Then, without apology, pick up where you were the next day. Number 5, respond responsibly. When someone sends a message during your business hours, make sure and respond as quickly as possible, preferably under 5 minutes. Even if you do not have the answer to the question being asked or do not have the information to respond at that moment, do not ignore the sender. If you are preoccupied, have one of your pre-configured autoresponders deliver a message saying what your status is. It's a good idea to have two very similar autoresponders configured with different versions of a response time. For example, "Hi, I'm currently with a client and saw your message. Will be free in approximately 30 minutes to respond." And, "Hi, I'm currently with a client and saw your message. Will be free in approximately 2 hours to respond." No one likes to feel ignored or ghosted. And just as you would with an email, it's good manners to acknowledge receipt of a message. The courtesy of a response is appreciated and important when providing the premium service of luxury real estate. Your response can be brief, however, it will tell the sender that they are important and are not being ignored. We all know that most people have their phones less than 5 feet from them at any given time. When you respond quickly, it eliminates that imaginary visual image the other person might have of you, where you're looking at their message and then ignoring it. The luxury consumer works in responsive environments. They have staff or employees or other service providers who respond quickly, and this is the standard they are accustomed to. One more thing, if you're in a situation and do not want to be interrupted, then turn your notifications off. This is where the outside party sees that you are not available. This, in practicality, is considered a reply. Number 6, excuse interruptions. Occasionally, there will be times when you are face-to-face with someone, driving on the highway, or some other activity where you should not look at your phone. In these cases, your messages can wait until it's a convenient or safer time. In today's technology-centered world, it is acceptable to stop a face-to-face conversation after 20 minutes or so and notify the other person that you need to look at your phone for 60 seconds. Be polite, excuse yourself, and say, "Thank you for your patience." Then as soon as you are done replying to any messages, put your phone away and put your focus on the person. They will appreciate your courtesy and your attention while you're still being responsive to the outside world. It's a good idea to set up code words to use with family members for these types of situations. If your spouse or kids send you a message, respond with something they know the meaning of. For example, IWAC, and they will know it means you are with a client. And they should plan on hearing back from you in about 20 minutes. Number 7, avoid nudging. When you are messaging, you may have people on the other end who do not respond in the same time frame as you. In these cases, avoid what is called nudging. It's exactly as the name implies. We've all been on the other side. It's when someone asks us a question, and then after a while, they follow up with the same question, or a rephrasing of the question, or the never well-received question mark symbol. Nudging can feel pushy, so if there's an urgent question and the other person is not responding, then communicate to them through a different means. Number 8, one-liners. Avoid the infamous one-liners. Got a sec? Can you talk? Call me. These are fine for your family. However, to a busy professional, they come across as curt. Remember BAM? Instead of got a sec, say, when would be a good time to talk about the offer? Instead of can you talk, say, call me when you can about Saturday. By disclosing the subject matter in the message, it allows the other person to prepare their thoughts before responding back, while avoiding any unnecessary anxiety. Number 9, provide solutions. Be informative and solutions-oriented in your messages. Process what the other person is saying and provide the answer they are seeking. When asked a question, answer the question. Don't go down a rabbit hole with a long backstory or explanation. If you need more than a few lines to provide context to the situation, use the phone and call them. Number 10, sending bad news. Avoid sending bad news via message. It causes a lot of stress to the receiver if you are not there to fill in the gaps. Instead, be direct and ask the other person for a phone call. For example, instead of texting, the buyers want to terminate. Say, I have an important update on the buyers. Their situation has changed. Please call when convenient. Then, when the person calls back, say, what I have is not the best news, or what I have to say is difficult. Following these guidelines will maximize your messaging skills. increase your efficiency, and present you as the luxury real estate professional you are. Now, when you look at your mobile phone, think about it as your primary communication device to every person you know. This means it has great power to influence and motivate. Use it like the tool that it is, to empower and serve others. Go get it.